as a journalist, I am the ambassador of the reader. So I always go to ask questions that, that will generate news. I always go to ask questions that, the reader will find interesting and will excite the reader. And that is the training I've given to all my journalists, everybody who has trained under me. Go there and ask satanic questions. He has the sobriety to edit me, and it worked for us. I complimented him, and he also complimented me, and so there was no competition. Even if there was any competition between us, it was for good. We competed healthily between ourselves, and we didn't have any issues at all about who is what. He might as well be the president of Nigeria. It never bothered me. And once he's president of Nigeria, I'm also president of Nigeria. So, DIMGBA, I can never stop discussing him. He was a very good man. I don't pray, because I love journalism, I love tabloid journalism, and I pray that journalism continue to survive. I'm still optimistic that newspapers won't die, no matter the threats from the new media. The new media will just complement, the old media. It's serving its master, and maybe if I were in his shoes, I would do the same too. So it will not be fair on my part to be critiquing Femi Adesina, because he's my son, and I would rather not say anything negative about him. And in any case, I have nothing negative to say about him. I think he's a man that deserves to be celebrated, and a man that deserves to be emulated, a man that deserves to be studied. I'm a lifelong student of Mike Awoyinfa, and I don't have any regrets, neither do I have any shame to say I am a student, because every day I'm learning, studying him and learning from him, So the book will come out. You know, he sees me as the worldly man. You know, that's why he calls me, you know, iniquity man, going everywhere. You know, but as a journalist, how will I not be an iniquity man? You know, you have to go and look for news. News itself is iniquity.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you have to go there and ask iniquity questions, satanic questions. You know, which you also, I know you have learned.
Yes, of course. Yes, I learned from you directly.
Yes, that's journalism. You have to ask iniquity questions.
Because you told us sometimes ago in a seminar that I think I was in city people there, a seminar, you told us that we must learn how to ask the question that we give the headline. And in most cases, those questions are the last questions. Yeah. And they are not always fine questions. That the only time you get the news is when you ask the questions that are not too comfortable with the interviewee.
Yeah.
So these are iniquity questions, sir.
That is now. That's the essence of the journalism. The best definition of news is when you ask a question and the person is very, very angry, and he say, "Get out of my house," or bangs his phone. You know, that is the best definition of news.
So you can say the leadership journalists that asked Fanny Kayode that question recently, that who backroad.
Oh.
What are you giving?
Oh, that was one of my happiest moments as a journalist, seeing Fanny Kayode angry. The boy asking a question and blowing hot. That is the best definition of news. If you read my world editors.
Yes, I have a copy.
Yes, that is what the
the word not the other one. It's the other one. Features, out of feature.
That is what the editors of New York Times, Washington Post, the New York Daily News, all the editors, when they ask them, what is news? Say, news is what will make the other man angry to the point of wanting to fight or kill you. Say, how dare you ask me that question? So, when I saw my friend Fanny Kayode very angry, I said, yes, this is the classical definition of news. So I hailed that boy. I hailed him for asking that question.
But it was soon newsy to the extent that your friends already apologized. Was apologizing later.
He messed it up by apologizing. He would have been a hero if he had fired back. You know?
So today when you see journalists, before we go to the other side of it, when you see journalists that make it look tushy, you know, journalists ask patronizing questions like, how did you start life, sir? Some very questions that are not too inquisitive. How do you feel when you see those kind of questions? You are meeting somebody for the first time, you are not investigating about him, and you don't want to ask him questions that will offend his sense of you want to ask, you don't want to offend the sense of news. So how do you feel with those kind of journalists that ask patronizing and tushy questions?
Well, they know why they are asking patronizing questions. But me as a journalist, you know, I am the ambassador of the reader. So I always go to ask questions that, you know, that will generate news. I always go to ask questions that, you know, the reader will find interesting and will excite the reader. And that is the training I've given to all my journalists, everybody who has trained under me. Go there and ask satanic questions. You know, questions that, you know, will not please, you know, the person you are interviewing.
Let's go back to the law before we round up. In doing this investigation, have you come across somebody like Chief Bola Jibola, who I learned has 7 sons among his children? That's the former Justice of the Hague and the former Minister of Justice in Nigeria under General Babangida's regime. And he was also trained by the late Chief Ohu Akeolugbade, who has his chambers in those days too, who started, I think, was the first Nigerian Yoruba man to get an oil license from General Yakubu Gowon. What did you discover about the legal practice of those days? I mean, from your findings, people like Bola Jibola, their role in the jurisprudence of not just Nigeria, but even across Nigeria in the Hague, and even your friend that passed away was a former minister, I think was in Gambia, in the Minister of Justice or something, played his role in Gambia. That's the man in Ibadan. The one that passed away in April. So what's the role of people like Bola Jibola, Owu Akeolugbade, and the man that passed away?
Well, Bola Ajibola, I'm trying to get him to feature in the book, and I'm sure I'll do everything possible.
Because he's advanced in age. That's what I'm asking. And he has a lot in his head.
Yes, definitely I would love to include him. And my friend Afe Babalola too.
Yeah, that one is busy with education.
Yes. Those are everybody that has impacted, in the field of law will definitely be featured in that book. It's not easy. I know. To get these people.
They're very busy people.
They are very busy to get their numbers, and COVID-19 has made things very difficult now. So most of my interviews are done on Zoom. Most of the interviews are done on Zoom. But I will do my best to, come up with a classic book that even lawyers themselves will also be proud that, So it's a journalist that did this. I will try to enrich that book, by bringing, the skill of a journalist into play. The beauty of that book is after the interview and I've done everything, I take it back to the person I interviewed to read and edit, and to tighten up, the aspects I didn't understand because I'm not a lawyer. So after the lawyer must have edited it, and I feel very comfortable that yes, I have a good, script a better manuscript in my hand. But it has not always been easy. Some lawyers you give the manuscript to them, and you have to be phoning and begging and say, oh, I'll do it, but they are so busy. But eventually, if I might have to, use some of them without their editing it. Since I'm not hearing from them, I'll just go with what I have,
From your own journalistic
journalism for you, go with what you have, and try to edit it as best as you can, Maybe when they see it and you are revising the book, they might, next time when you give them a manuscript, they will edit it,
So let me quickly go back to your days at the Sun newspaper. When the Sun newspaper came back, it was a very wonderful story. There have never been anything like that in a long time. The only time we witnessed that kind of revolution was Weekend Concord, where Mike Awoyinfa and DIMGBA IGWE revolutionalized a newspaper in Nigeria under the a journalism, a niche called tabloidism. And the whole world just catch up with it, and we're having 500,000 copies sold in a weekend. Then the Sun came. You ran it for 7 years before you went into other things. At the time you were called to come and become director, we were all surprised because you are the MD and the Uncle DIMGBA was the DMD. But when you were called to become director, why didn't you want to become a board director that you just could be a director? Because I think Uncle Mike was called to become Uncle DIMGBA was called to become he took a role that was above yours, and people vice president. Sorry, it was vice chairman. Yes, and people were saying no, it's Mr. Awoyinfa that's supposed to become vice chairman, and Mr. DIMGBA will become a director. Why did people believe that you deliberately didn't take that position and you only gave it to your friend? Why did you do that, sir?
Well, if DIMGBA and me, we are twins now. If it's vice chairman, I'm also vice chairman.
And because everybody believes that the salary cannot be the same. That you are just...
It's not about salary. It's not a job we are paid for. I felt he's better, skilled. He has the comportment and the experience to be able to manage meetings more than me. He's the man that so I considered, when the owner of the paper asked, I agreed that he should be vice chairman, and I wasn't feeling,
You didn't feel people were feeling it for you that why should you take a second feeling?
No. DIMGBA, as far as me and DIMGBA are concerned, we are primus inter pares. We are equals, I don't feel ashamed serving under him, and even while we're in the sun, I gave him all the full powers. I'm not, I wasn't in any kind of competition or contest with him. As far as I was concerned, he was even my boss. I saw him as my boss.
Why did you get that kind of a sense of humility? Not every Yoruba man will have that kind of thing. You are a educated Yoruba, very, polished, and Uncle DIMGBA too was a very polished Igbo man. So why didn't you have this fear or this sense of, why did you get your complex that it's not inferior?
Well, that is me. I can't change my nature, and I might be older than DIMGBA, but I feel he's wiser than me. He's more knowledgeable than me. He's, he has so many things above me. So I wasn't. We're equals in everything we're doing, and
everybody would like to say Mike Awoyinfa is the godfather. You are going to write the tabloid. He writes prose too, and two of you people know you are good prose writers, but somebody is better than the other one. So why did you allow him that kind of level of go forward?
Well, that's the way I felt, and he has what I didn't have. He has. I'm the quiet type, and he's more the assertive. He's the manager, and my own was I'm the creative side of the business. I'm the one that comes out with all kinds of ideas. Let's do this, let's do that. I'm the one that goes into the clouds. And he's the one that who has his feet on the ground, and and in a way,
the inspiration.
So he is my editor. He's the one that edits my iniquity, my my everything. He has the sobriety to edit me, and it worked for us. I complimented him, and he also complimented me, and so there was no competition. Even if there was any competition between us, it was for good. We competed heavily between ourselves, and we didn't have any issues at all about who is what. He might as well be the president of Nigeria. It never bothered me. And once he's president of Nigeria, I'm also president of Nigeria. So DIMGBA, I can never stop discussing him. He was a very good man and a very honest man, and he's a man I cannot disappoint, even when he's in the grave. And I'm hoping I will meet him one day in heaven.
That's a very long time from now, sir, in Jesus' name.
I pray so, and I'm praying, working hard to be able to make heaven too, so that I can meet him there.
Let's quickly go to the issue of Entertainment Express. It's another very successful story there. But after he left, because I used to remember, I used to come to the office and see two of you. You sit at the right side, he sit at the left. Then it's like two of you are giving yourself inspiration. You look into each other's eyes, and we had a lot of young people, like my friend Azuama Tors, and some other very brilliant young people that are working under you then. But after he ascended to heaven, it appears that you and Chief Sono Ojagbase couldn't go along. What happened? Was it because Mr. DIMGBA was not there again, and is it that you felt lonely?
The Entertainment Express was another story in itself, and I'm happy with what we did. We created a brand that was very, very acceptable. But the business model didn't really work.
But it was a paper that everybody was picking. It was almost competing with the evening papers because it was taking 80% of Nollywood, and it was doing it well. Entertainment.
It was selling for 50 naira.
Yeah. I remember.
How do you do business of 50 naira in Nigeria? It wasn't selling. By the time we moved it to 100 naira, the market didn't rebel in a way, and it wasn't sustainable again. We didn't fold up because it was because of DIMGBA's death. It's not easy to run an entertainment newspaper in Nigeria at all. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's even tougher now. With so many competition. Entertainment journalism has so many competitors. Particularly, it's easier for the social media and the other electronic media to be able to compete than than a hard copy. But I don't regret it, and we enjoyed ourselves.
In the experiment.
Yes, we enjoyed ourselves. We created, and I don't think the money. If we had had the, big capital, big money, people to really back it up, and we get our big marketing campaigns right and all that. Maybe it will have succeeded, but I don't think I will ever want to go into that niche. It's tough. Entertainment journalism is tough.
So before rounding up, really, when you look at the industry today, what is your greatest fear? You have an industry like wonderful brand. You have Punch, you have Guardian, you have This Day, you have Tribune, you have the oldies, you have the Sun, you have a lot of newspaper, but when you get to the newsstand, you hardly see one that is really moving. You ask the vendor, they say, okay, Punch, and maybe one or two others. And what you hear today that journalists are being downsized, do you have any fear? And what is your advice for journalists that are presently at home? Some of them lost their job, maybe because of the competition online and because of the dynamics of the markets. So what is your advice for them? Because you have already taken a niche. You are an autobiographer, you are a biographer already. You have jumped to the next level. You have thought out of the box. So what is your advice for young people that are languishing in the unemployment markets?
Well, the
young journalists.
The media's problem is not limited to Nigeria. It's something global. The news, social media has really eaten into our market. That and the economy does not help things. Most people prefer, rather than buying hard copy, they would rather read the story online and all that. And it's just unfortunate. And I will just advise journalists, to put on their thinking cap and to put on their creative thinking and do things things unusual things like what you are doing, and like I said earlier, they can come into writing books, which is a higher form of journalism. Rather than sitting down and, mourning.
A lot of them are mourning, really.
Yes.
Some of them are angry. Recently, we had the politicians' newspaper that released sacked like 200 staff, and they say, "Oh, this politician has money." But are you afraid that the hard copy might be extinct some years from now?
I don't pray so, because I love journalism. I love tabloid journalism, and I pray that journalism continue to survive. I'm still optimistic that newspapers won't die, no matter the threats from the new media. The new media will just complement, the old media. So my advice is, journalists should not just sit down and surrender. Use what journalism has trained you for, to be able to, move into something innovative, be creative, come come and write books. There's nothing terrifying about book writing. Book writing is just like storytelling. It's just like an extended journalism. Use your training, to come into biographical writing. There's no need, being afraid. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. You just be determined. Yes, I want to be an author. I want to be a biographer. And without any doubt, if you put your mind on it, you'll be able to make it.
Is there anything you hate about the new media? Is there anything you hate? Social media.
It's interesting, but it's anything goes. People will just hear rumors and they won't authenticate their stories. Anything goes in journalism. Everybody can just pick a video and start broadcasting lies, libelous information, accusing people for, sentencing people for offense they did not commit. That is the social media for you, and I want a social media that is responsible, that's based on, fact, and that's based on doing unto others what you don't want. Don't do unto others what you don't want somebody to do unto you. You cannot start calling somebody Ole when you don't have the facts. People should try to be factual, and truth is the kernel of journalism. Once you start spreading falsehood and all that, it works counter to the values and the ideals of journalism. I'm
going to ask you some other questions before we round up now. One of your sons is Mr. Femi Awoyinfa. You train him. This one of your star in the School of Tabloid Journalism. Today is the spokesman to one of the strongest men in Africa, the commander-in-chief of Africa's most populous nation, Nigeria. Anytime you look at him on the TV and with the plethora of criticism on him, how do you feel for Mr. Femi Awoyinfa? Because he also respects you, he holds you in high esteem, but when you look at him now as a spokesman, will you advise any of your sons to take that kind of job again?
Well, I don't know what I can say. Femi makes me proud. He's doing a good job. He's serving his master, and maybe if I were in his shoes, I would do the same too. So it will not be fair on my part to be critiquing Femi Awoyinfa, because he's my son, and I would rather not say anything negative about him. And in any case, I have nothing negative to say about him.
You want to pray for him?
Yes, I have to pray. I'm praying for him that God will give him the wisdom to do things right and to do the right things. Just as I'm praying for everybody, all my sons, Dele Momodu, Eric Oshagi, Shola Oshukaye, I'm praying that they will all be greater than me.
It appears to me that tabloid journalism is dying without the master. The grandmaster is Mike Awoyinfa in Nigeria. The last son of yours, Eric Osage, just left the son. And I'm so afraid, maybe except for a few people like Femi, who are able to tap from that knowledge, the Mike Awoyinfa tonic, the Mike Awoyinfa spleen. How did you feel for tabloid journalism in Nigeria? Because in those days, it was Mike and DIMGBA, and the paper was everywhere. Then when you left for Femi Awoyinfa and our brother who went to take commissionership job in Anambra State, and after some time, Eric Osage was the last boy standing. And today, we have all of them doing other things. Are you afraid that what you betted, what you stood for, could be eroded in a twinkle of an eye?
As the king of tabloid, I will not want tabloid journalism to die. I'm thinking of writing a book on tabloid journalism.
I think you will need that, sir. Please.
Yes, I'm thinking of writing a book on how to, look for
innovative headlines are dying. We don't have them.
How to conceive and write headlines, how to tabloidize a story, how to, go about, writing tabloid stories. I pray I have the time to write.
No, you're going to have the time because a lot of young people want to learn. A lot of young people don't know how to even create headlines now. And in your days, there were a lot of innovative headlines. Dele Momodu wrote that you taught him a lot about not just stories, even about headlines, how to script it, how to create a headline from a human story. So, and we're afraid that is fast eroding these days. And with Eric Osage, the last boy standing, leaving the Sun newspaper, the paper appears not to be too interesting to us again. And I'm telling you the fact now. I say I'm going to ask you this question. I won't mind if you're offended, so I'm very sorry, sir.
No, tabloid won't die. I'm sure God will raise some new prophets of tabla journalism to, we can't claim we know it all now. So, it's all like music. New stars will emerge. Definitely. The old stars will go and new stars, will emerge like Chris Okigbo's poem.
On the last note, the book of Mike Awoyinfa has always been a book that fascinates me. And I keep asking, why is the book not out now? There was a time, I think some few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I will come and see you in your office at the entertainment. And I only took a copy away one time, but it didn't work. What is delaying this book? We want to read the story about the biggest guru in Africa, a man who has created business from nothingness to something and all that, oil tycoon, telecommunication guru, real estate expert, a man from Ijebu who has gone to the international arena and become an octopus. So, sir, what is delaying the book on the guru, Mike Awoyinfa, after the exit of Uncle DIMGBA IGWE?
Don't worry, my book on Awoyinfa is coming very, very soon. I've written so much about Awoyinfa, that I have decided to put together all my my columns on him. The title of the book is Mike Awoyinfa, Path to Guru. So it will be a collection of all my articles. I have enough articles. The articles itself is enough to tell the Mike Awoyinfa story, because, I think he's a man that deserves to be celebrated and a man that deserves to be emulated, a man that deserves to be studied. I'm a lifelong student of Mike Awoyinfa, and I don't have any regrets, neither do I have any shame to say I am a student, because every day I'm learning, studying him and learning from him, So the book will come out, a collection of my articles on him. And people that read it will still be able to, understand, the kind of man he is and what makes him tick. And, they'll be able to appreciate his greatness. He's a great man who deserves, to be celebrated.
In fact, we want to thank you, sir, for this time, and it's a very honor. We wish that the lecture could continue, but we know you have your time. You are doing some other things there. I want to thank you for this wonderful time. You have made our day today, and we want to pray that God will give you long life and prosperity more, and for you to be able to write more books. I will wish when other time we beg you, you'll be able to make yourself available to us, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and like I said from the beginning, I'm inspired with what you are doing, and I will say the sky is your limit, and don't, you are young, and, you should not give up. You should continue what you are doing, and God will bless you. You'll be greater than me.
Amen, sir. God bless, sir. God bless, sir. Well, it has been a very good day interviewing the legend, Professor Mike Awoyinfa, the king and the godfather of tabloid journalism in Nigeria, a biographer, an expert in biography. He's been writing the stories of great people around the country. On the screen, you are seeing the phone numbers. If you want to pick any of this book, it can be couriered to you, either in Nigeria, in Australia, any part of the world. if you want to read any of these books, these are books that are good for your businesses, innovations from experienced people who have controlled the boardroom, people who have used the ideas to create brands that are still everlasting to today. You will never regret having a copy. I am a beneficiary of his books. So till next time that we find him on our screen, let this discourse continue. Goodbye.